17th of Feb today, day off on holidays for a month now. Actually, I've got leave for a month away from work, so I'll do some travelling and go see some family. But for the moment, for the next couple of days before I fly, I'm hitting the gym. And today was... Look, I know yesterday I was keen to do some squats and some deadlifts and stuff like that. But over the last couple of days, I've been thinking about, back pain. And, pain I've experienced in the past compared to how I feel now, and acute types of back pain versus chronic types of back pain. Anything over sort of 3 months is considered a chronic type of back pain. And I was back to thinking about spine health a little bit and how I can sort of use my workouts at the gym and warming up correctly and doing a few different varied movements can help my back health and my spine health. In conjunction with the core work that I did yesterday, I know there are a lot of links to poor core stability and poor back health, and vice versa. If you have good core stability, maybe not your whole back, but there's definitely sort of your lumbar region of your back, your lower back tends to be well controlled, and people have less problems with their lower back if they have a good core. It's all provided, you're lifting correctly. It depends what line of work you're in, how sedentary your lifestyle is, what kind of movements you're doing in your daily life. And this exercise that I'm doing here was an exercise that I picked up at work, funnily enough. We were doing a manual handling session at work with a couple ergonomic physios that came in, and they said, look, obviously healthcare workers have huge problems with their backs. If you talk to a lot of nurses and PCAs or AINs, assistant nurses or wardies, a lot of them have had back problems or have back problems, or there's a lot of issues with their spine. So I picked up that exercise from a physio who was talking just about the ergonomics of having almost complete rotation in your spine when you're doing that exercise. I'm sort of rotating my, one scapula back while keeping the opposite arm forward and trying to keep my head looking straight at the same spot. So I'm getting rotation of pretty much the majority of my spine. I'm getting a little bit of cervical, thoracic and lumbar rotation all at once in a very gentle movement that does not jerk or awkwardly move my back in the wrong way. So I picked that up from a physio, and I've been incorporating it into my warm-ups before doing back exercises. I do it sometimes before deadlifts and squats as well. And I've been doing it, I've probably only learned it about 6 months ago, and I've been doing it pretty much ever since. I do it about once a week as a back warm-up. That, in along with some of the normal stretching I do that, I've shown anyway. I always have my lower back that pops a little bit and releases a little bit of pressure. So I started warming up like that. Did the loo raises as well, and warmed up the shoulders appropriately. And my right shoulder or right armpit is still swollen like a little golf ball under there at the moment after the booster. So I decided that I couldn't do anything push. I could do pull, predominantly closer grip stuff, pulling. But I couldn't do anything overhead, so I couldn't do any lateral pull downs or anything like that, because it just aggravated sort of the inside of my armpit a little bit too much and put too much strain there. So I held that off for today, and I went there with an aim of doing more close grip stuff. However, I did meet my mate at the gym today, and we did a few pull-up variations and some dips as well to mix things in, and then he had to leave unexpectedly. So I sort of just continued on. I stopped filming for a brief bit and then picked it back up. Like I said, just diligently going through warming up my spine at the moment. And I think doing it back to back, having a back day after a core day, is sort of just linking up what I'm thinking here, and how a good strong core relates to a good strong back, but it's not just having abs. If you think about someone with lower back pain and you tell them that they need to have a strong core, they might go do some sit-ups or something like that, and sit-ups don't do anything for your core. They're just working your abdominal muscles, and that's it. What you really want to work is your transverse abdominis, those sort of muscles that are a little bit deeper and a little bit more dormant in a lot of people. Obviously, you do have your internal and external obliques as well, that control a lot of your lumbar movement and rotation, your lumbar rotation, which you have to be aware of, but it's those transverse abdominal muscles that you work out doing a lot of plank variation and a mix of plank crunch variations at the same time. Dead bugs or rock climbers is what I call exercises for your abs, for your core, to work that transverse core. Planking is probably the best example of working your transverse core, and any sort of variations you see off your basic plank does a lot of that as well. So probably over the next few days I might look into a few more of those core exercises that will work for me. I know I don't do them completely, and I do some exercises when I do a quote-unquote core workout that just work my abs and don't do too much else for my core stabilization and my lower back stabilization and things like that. But I felt today it was today in conjunction with yesterday was a bit of a well-rounded effort in linking these sort of two areas of my body together. And look, we come back here to these, it's not like a reverse hyper, but it's like a hyperextension machine, this machine here, and going back, putting the bar on my back and having to tense my back, tense my traps to keep the bar in place and to hold the bar in place whilst driving through my lower back and my hips and my hamstrings and my glutes to raise myself and hold myself up. I know I've said it before, I'm loving this exercise. It is like a total full back workout all at once. I'm keeping the top half of my back quite sturdy, I'm keeping everything nice, tight and contracted, so I'm feeling a little bit of fatigue in the muscles. And then obviously the main target point of this exercise is the lower back, so the lower back gets the main amount of fatigue, but sort of just ties everything all in one here. And like I said, I did meet up with my mate, and he does 20 minutes on the treadmill normally before we work out together, and then I just continue on with my exercises at the moment. So I did a little bit of this, like I said, some closed grip pulls and row variations. Do an incline row later, and then sort of some reverse flies as well. If I couldn't do lateral pull downs, I think reverse flies are probably the next closest thing to rounding out my upper back and some of those finer muscles in my upper back. But this exercise, man, I'm very happy I found it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I found it watching, I think, Chinese weightlifting videos and Russian weightlifting videos. So I was watching, I think, some video with Lu Xiaojun, and I noticed this exercise and different variations of it, and I go, okay, great, I'll make a mental note of that. And then a couple of days later I was watching a video of Dmitry Kolokov, and he was doing the same exercise, and then he actually made another video with some other, YouTube person, where he was explaining the benefit of this exercise and how in Russia, if you're doing weightlifting and you're doing snatch and things like that, this is the exercise that your coach first introduces you to in the gym, and that you prepare for your workouts with this exercise. And it's the first workout you learn, and then it's the first workout you do when you're warming up in the gym. So I'm really, really stoked, really happy I found this exercise. This is the first time I did sort of 5 sets of 10 of it as well, just to push myself a little bit. I feel a lot of fatigue after 3 sets of 10. So the rest periods went from a minute to probably almost about 2 minutes in between the third and fourth and fifth set. But I'm definitely feeling some benefits and some strength. I know it translated a lot to my deadlift last week, and I felt a lot more stability in my deadlift, and I can sort of adjust the leg drive that I feel, because obviously I do trap bar deadlifts. The leg drive that I initially have with trap bar deadlift into the use of the lower back, and then bringing through the hips as I'm lifting up the bar, whilst keeping my spine in a safe position. So I definitely feel that this exercise has translated over to those deadlifts quite well, and it will be something that I continue to use. And as someone who has had previous back problems from cricket, and obviously I work in health as well, so it's something I have to watch out about. I think these sort of lower back strengthening exercises where I can involve my glutes and my hamstrings a little bit as well, rather than singularly isolating my back, helps as well. I think it just helps for the all-round movement that I'm experiencing. So I finish off this set, and then I go do some row, sort of incline row pulls with a reverse fly, just to round out the workout. Like I mentioned, I sort of finished this. I worked out with my mate for a little bit, then he had to go, and I didn't film anything. It was just pull-ups and dips, pretty much. I was just doing sets of 5 pull-ups with overhand grips. I did 10 sets of 5 with overhand, and then I did about 3 sets of 10 with an underhand grip of pull-ups, and then dips. I was doing sets of 12 reps with the dips, and I did 5 sets of 12 reps with just dips, working the tricep, shoulder. If you lean on an angle, works a little bit of your lower chest as well, just to mix up and give a little bit of rest to the back. And then obviously my mate had to go, and I remembered that I was still filming the workout, so I hopped on here and continued filming. But it's interesting to look at the literature surrounding your core and your back as well. I think if you look towards a lot of the physio side demonstrates effective outcomes in proper core training and proper core stability relating to good back health. However, when I had a look at some of the literature, it was a little bit it's not 100% for it. I think there's a lot of discussion about it, and the right sort of exercises to do around preventing or managing back pain. And I think partially that is because there are a lot of variations in exercises out there, and to judge the quality, I think it's a bit more of a qualitative study. You can't really quantitate how someone is feeling after an exercise. You can quantify it in that, if you're doing this exercise, you're able to lift more, later down the track as you get stronger. You can sort of quantify that. But if you're doing it with poor form, or if you're doing it with increased pain, that's more of a qualitative aspect. Rather, you can't really quantify pain other than like a pain scale, 0 out of, how do you feel, 1 being nothing, 10 being the worst pain you've ever felt, kind of thing. So I think scientifically there's probably a little bit of an issue there, relating that qualitative data to effective abdominal and core exercises to then relate them to improved back health. And a lot of these studies involving people that already have problems with their back, so they're already limited to the kinds of core exercises they can complete. There's not a lot out there that is for people that already have relatively healthy spines, and then using core workouts, in conjunction with proper back workouts as well, to maintain, slightly better than adequate spine health, and provide longevity to your spine, and to one's ability to move pain-free, and improve their quality of life. So it's really interesting digging around some of the literature that's out there for the moment. So I'll continue to have a look and we'll see later. But that's sort of my spiel today and what I was thinking about back health relating to core. We'll be at the gym tomorrow. I'm catching a flight Saturday afternoon about 1 o'clock, so I'll probably hit the gym twice, and then I might be hitting cardio for a few days. I'm going to stay with family. There will possibly be opportunities to go to the gym, but there's almost always an opportunity to go for a run, so I won't be missing out on cardio. It'll just be some of the strength aspect that I'll need to plan around in order to make sure that I'm at least hitting the gym 3 times a week while I'm off for this month. So thank you. Cheers, and I will see you tomorrow in the next video.